Well, good evening, everybody. It's 6 o'clock and it's Friday, and so it's time for Flashcard Friday. Um, I hope you guys had a phenomenal Thanksgiving. It was a little weird not having it last week, so I'm excited to get started again. Now I know a lot of you saw this title, and you're ready to turn it off. I don't know if I'm live or not, so I'm gonna hit one button really quick. It was really weird. This thing popped up on my computer screen, and it kind of messed me up. I know a lot of you saw that nasty word at the end there, and you're ready to turn off. But I want you to hang with me for just a second because I'm really going to focus on that first word. I'm going to talk about surviving patience. Um, doesn't matter where you look in this Bible, we're asked to be patient. Right off the bat, Abraham, he has to wait 25 years to have a child, and David 30 years to become king. All of these things. You see all of these things play out. Through the Bible where people are forced into patience. So we understand that we have to be patient. If you're like me, it's a struggle and it's frustrating and it's annoying, but there's a reason behind it, And again, there was a million scriptures that I could have picked, but I was really captured by the one in Colossians. And I Colossians is one of those books of the Bible. It's one of those letters from Paul that I go back to a lot. And I think it's mainly because the way we live in the United States is so similar to how the Colossian church lived their lives in Colossae. So if you picture just for a second Turkey, and and take a look at that eastern half of Turkey, Colossae would be almost right smack dab in the middle of it. And for you to get anywhere, for you to get to Rome, for you to get to Ephesus, for you to get to all of these different places, you had to go through Colossae. So they had different religions. They had, different mythological beliefs. They had, um, different ways of life, different skin colors. They had this multitude of different political beliefs. They had all of these different things going on. And the Colossian church was actually, they were being pulled, in multiple different directions, and some of it was starting to seep into the church. So Paul's letter to the Colossian church is to say, guys, don't do that. And here's kind of how you can fight through that. So when you just think about the climate today, think about it at work, on social media, the environment, your family dinners. Just think about all of these things. We're being inundated with different political beliefs, different racial beliefs, different gender beliefs. Um, the coronavirus pandemic, is splitting this country. Do you listen to the governor? Do you not listen to the governor? All of these things are just kind of pulling at us. So that's why I went, with these verses in Colossians, because they were going through the same thing. They were facing the same struggles. They were being killed, for their beliefs. They were being called names. All of these things were happening to them, and they're the things that are happening to us today. So I want to take a look at 3 verses towards the end, and there's a couple of very important things that revolve around surviving patience. Yes, he's going to tell you that you need to have patience, but it's also about surviving through patience. So again, it's Colossians 3:12 through 14. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord has forgiven you. And over all of these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. And probably the most important thing that you hear in those verses is clothe yourself. You hear clothe yourself or put on. It doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come naturally to you. It doesn't come naturally to me. I have to, every morning when I get up, I have to put on humility, patience, kindness, love. And what's really cool, first off, knowing that it doesn't come natural, that's a relief to a lot of people. But there's also the cool part of, if you're putting something on, you can also find moments to take it off. So, there are times that, that something will happen and it taps on my patient's nerve, to the point that I almost break. And so when I get home, I take off patience. I get on my lawnmower or whatever else it might be, and I let I let it rip. And what's cool about that is God is faithful, and He meets me in those moments. To say, hey, you nailed it here. You need a little work over here. But above all of that, Lisa, you're my daughter. So clothing yourself is a big deal, both putting it on and finding those moments to take it off. Because if you try to be, humble and loving all of the time, eventually you're going to break. So you need those moments to just say, you know what? I need a moment to myself. I need to go outside. I need to scream into a pillow. I need to do something, but I need to get away and let God rejuvenate me. Another thing is experience the weight. And what that means is sometimes God will have you in a holding pattern, where he's teaching you how to do something. And if you're anything like me, I'm one of those people that when God says He's going to use me to do something, I want to jump right in. It's like, throw me into the deep end, let me get going, let me get it done. But when I do that, I wear myself out, and I miss what He's trying to teach me. So about 18 months ago, He had me start writing a Bible study. Now, it's a 5-week study, and I'm still not done with it. But it's like every Monday I get to study, and I get to learn a little bit more, and I get to write a little bit more. I'm experiencing that waiting time, and my ultimate goal is to have it done within a 2-year period. But if it doesn't happen within that, I'm okay with that because of the experiences He's showing me along the way. But the only way that you can do that is to stop. To just stop and let God speak to you in a given situation. There are times that, like maybe you're at work and a coworker says something to you and it makes you angry and you want to instantly retort back. But you can feel God kind of nudging you saying, don't do that. Okay, experience that. There's something that He's trying to teach you, in that moment. And if you can take that time to stop and let Him speak into your life, you'll find that when you're confronted with that situation again, He gives you a way to respond without tearing somebody's eyes out. And trust me, if you're anything like me, I need to like exercise this daily. The other one is reshape the situation. One of the things that I have to ask myself, especially if I'm confronted with somebody who wants to be argumentative, is the first question I ask myself is, what is God teaching me through this? Not what is that person trying to teach me, but what is God trying to teach me through this? Because a lot of times, again, when you think about the climate that we're in right now, somebody might, if you believe this way, somebody's going to call you a sheeple, or they're going to call you a communist, or there have been some doozies, and I'm drawing a blank right now, but there's a lot of name calling, and that name calling is designed to get you to respond, to tap on those little triggers. But if you can, in that moment, just reshape the situation and go, you want to call me a sheeple? I'm okay with that, because God's my shepherd. And it's taking that moment and going, okay, God, how can I walk through this? How can I walk through this with grace? How can I walk through it with patience, with humility, more importantly, with love? How can I do that? How can I reshape this situation in my mind so that I don't do what my flesh wants to do? And this seems simple, when I say the word breathe, but it's not. Again, you'll find those times when you get so angry or so frustrated or so stressed out over a situation that it's hard to take a deep breath. And those are the moments that you actually need to do that. And it is no joke. You can go from Genesis to Revelation, and God continually talks about breathing. He breathed life into us. Ezekiel breathed the word of God into bones, and they came back to life. There's all of these moments, throughout. Even in Revelation, Jesus comes back, with a flaming breath. And take a look at it today. Health, just health-wise, doctors will tell you if while you're eating dinner, if you slowly take it, or if you quickly take in a deep breath, hold it for 5 seconds, and then release it slowly, it increases your ability to digest food properly. Therapists will tell you in a tense situation to breathe and count to 10. So they want you to again take in that quick breath, release it slowly, but do it 10 times. It doesn't matter if you want to look at it religiously or secularly or mix the two together. Breathing is hugely important. And the second thing, or the last thing, sorry about that, when you're in this whole thing, is to enjoy the journey. Going back to the Bible study that I'm writing, I had these thoughts in my mind 18 months ago. This is how I wanted to write this. I wrote the basic outline of it 18 months ago, and I probably could have written it in a couple of months, and it would have been okay. But with God slowing me down, teaching me how to be patient, showing me how to survive patience, I'm studying things that I didn't know were in this book. I'm learning, the way that God designed this book goes along with the Bible study, and there are so many things that are happening along the way. But if I was in a hurry, I wouldn't be able to enjoy the journey. I wouldn't be able to get the study in that I'm getting in. And not only that, but I'll study something and then I'll have a conversation with someone. And almost every time, something that I've studied will come up in that conversation. And God reinforces what He's taught me up to that point. But again, it's all about surviving. It's all about listening and being open to be patient. Excuse me. And I want to close with this to tell you why patience is so important. Because again, it doesn't come naturally. We have to clothe ourselves with it. And Solomon tells us about it in Proverbs 15:18. A hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but the one who is patient calms a quarrel. Patience in anything that you're going through will calm a situation. I had a boss tell me early on that my stress level showed on my face. And it was because I didn't know how to be patient. I had a job to get done before an event happened, and don't interrupt me, I gotta get this done, type of a thing. And in doing that, I missed out on so many things because I didn't know how to survive and be patient. I didn't know how to take a moment, even though I knew it was going to slow me down, to take a moment and have a conversation with somebody. And that's what God's saying here. That's what Paul is saying to the Colossian church. You're going to be confronted by every belief known to man. But love first. Love in patience. When you do that, you can calm any situation down, even your own mind. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. And again, if there are any topics that you want to see covered on a Friday night, I would love to hear about it. You can send me an email at info@howellcpc.org, or you can put something in the comment line here. Again, thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.